lawsuit was about her having a negative effect on my children. That's what that lawsuit was about. And when her behavior and the things she did and said began to affect my sons, that's when I opened my mouth.
You feel broken about what's going on today?
I feel broken, I feel hurt, and again, I had to go to God. I always resort to go back to God because I had to ask God why. The things the abuse that has happened to my grandchildren, the things that has happened.
So y'all know how I've been dishing out all the juicy updates on Gabrielle Union and Dwyane Wade's marriage, right? Well, brace yourselves because I've got some mind-blowing news that's gonna leave you shook. Dwyane Wade's ex-wife and the mom of his first two kids, Siohvaugn Funches, has just joined the group chat and is spilling tea on him and Gabrielle, and trust me, it's absolutely crazy. Now, Siohvaugn came prepared with some solid evidence to support her claim that Gabrielle influenced her daughter Zaya to transition into a trans woman, all for some profit. And she didn't hold back, folks. Siohvaugn straight up exposed Gabrielle for playing mind games with Zaya and keeping her away from her real mom. There's a whole lot of drama unfolding, and you'll bet I'll be sharing every jaw-dropping bit of it, y'all.
Siohvaughn, as a boy, came home and said, hey, so I want to talk to you guys. I think going forward, I'm ready to live my truth. And I want to be referenced as she and her. I would love for you guys to call me Zaya.
Okay, so I swear there have been so many updates on this whole Gabrielle Union versus Dwyane Wade drama, and it's easy to lose track of all these updates. In case y'all missed the tea, gossip blog dude Moy recently revealed that Dwyane and Gabrielle are on the outs after yet another cheating scandal. Though Moy wrote, Dwyane is very close to a woman, not Gabrielle. He was spotted getting very close to her, spoke to her very intimately while I was there for 2 hours. Gabrielle also has some interesting posts on her Instagram. When clarity, youth, and transparency are present, there's only room for evolution. Gabrielle just posted on her Snapchat a picture of their daughter. I'd do anything for her peace. They also said, somebody else messaging me that Dwyane keeps posing with the kids and not with Gabrielle. Gabrielle has only been posting with their daughter and not their other kids. An insider said they will be like Will and Jada. If they ever separate, they will keep it quiet and live their separate lives, but keep on a united front for years if necessary. Well, this just burst the whole drama wide open. An insider started to report that Dwyane is on the DL and that Gabrielle has been his beard. I mean, this shouldn't be so surprising because Jaguar Wright spilled the tea last year.
They ain't doing as much, I guess, now because they're getting older. I guess it just moved over to the Wade house.
Energy transfers.
And I'm not saying that because of their trans daughter. I'm saying that because of the artist that I just spoke to not that long ago that got invited to a party at their house. Everything was cool up front till they went to the back and there was a bunch of old and young boys back there all ass naked in the Wade house.
Okay, so now that y'all are now up to speed on the latest happenings, let's dive into the rather messy allegations that Dwyane Wade's ex-wife Siohvaugn Funches is throwing out there, especially about Gabrielle. Now, ever since we got wind of Dwyane and Gabrielle's split, there's been a whole lot of talk about what's in store for Zaya now that Gabrielle won't be a constant presence in her life. You see, Zaya and Gabrielle have always had a super tight bond, and people have been quite worried about how she's going to cope with this whole situation, especially considering she's undergoing a very public transformation with millions of people scrutinizing her every move. So naturally, there have been lots of thoughts on the matter, but according to Siohvaugn, the reason Zaya is in this situation to begin with is because Gabrielle allegedly pushed her to change her identity. Now what? Now, according to Siohvaugn, Gabrielle wanted the attention that came with having a child in the LGBTQ+ spectrum, but didn't want to subject her own daughter to that spotlight, so she allegedly turned to Zaya. And since Kavya is still pretty young and doesn't quite understand all this stuff about gender identity, Siohvaugn claims that Gabrielle began subtly manipulating Zaya, planting little seeds of doubt in her mind until she believed that she genuinely wanted to identify as a trans woman. Okay, let's not be insensitive here, but I gotta let y'all know what Siohvaugn is saying about the whole situation. But according to Dwyane, Zaya has always known deep down that she was meant to be a girl, and she bravely opened up about it when she felt like it was the right time.
Zaya, early on, she was the one who sat down with us as a family and said, hey, I don't think I'm gay, right? I identify myself as a young lady, but she's known that for 9 years.
She's known since she was 3.
She's known since she was 3 years old.
Now let's talk about Siohvaughn's view of the situation. She firmly believes that Dwyane and Gabrielle are lying through their teeth to hide the real story. According to her, they're pushing Zaya into something she might not genuinely want, all in the name of getting attention and fame. Now Siohvaugn even went as far as to suggest that Dwyane might be living vicariously through Zaya or fulfilling some personal fantasy. And let's not forget these rumors about Dwyane in the last recent weeks. I mean, he openly admitted to cross-dressing in the past. So was Dwyane secretly wanting to be a trans woman all along? In addition to being on the DL, is this why he's pushing Zaya to be what she biologically isn't?
Me and my wife looked at each other, right? And the reason we looked at each other is because of this, you know, as kids, I used to put on heels. I used to do all those things. I try to put on whatever my sisters wear. When all my sisters did, I try to do those things.
Now, if this is true, y'all want to know what the truly messed up part about all this is? Siohvaugn dropped some major bombshells about how Gabrielle and Dwyane isolated her from Zaya throughout this whole ordeal. She claimed that Gabrielle was so obsessed with playing the role of Zaya's mom that she not only cut Dwyane off from co-parenting with Siohvaugn, but also went to great lengths to prevent Siohvaugn from even seeing Zaya. But Siohvaugn had even more tea to spill, because let her tell it, she revealed that not only did Gabrielle cheat with Dwyane while she was married to him, but she also put in considerable effort to isolate Siohvaugn from her own children. In the process, Gabrielle portrayed herself as the perfect stepmother and painted Siohvaugn as the crazy, jealous, and toxic ex-wife who is also a bad mother. So while Zaya was going through the process of coming out to her friends and family, she was essentially cut off from her real mom, Siohvaugn. Now y'all remember that messy confrontation that took place last year or earlier this year when Dwyane publicly announced that he was in the process of changing Zaya's name and gender on all official documents? Well, Siohvaugn strongly opposed this move, but Gabrielle and Dwyane spun it to make her seem transphobic, hinting that she couldn't accept Zaya embracing her true self as a girl. Now it's worthy to note that Dwyane isn't typically the type to air out his private issues in public, so the fact that he quickly went public with this drama seems to suggest that it was just a PR move. Unless Siohvaugn tell it, that's exactly what it was. In Dwyane's statement, he said, "Since this must be the new way of parenting, I guess I have to address these allegations here, which is a shame. I've received a social media post about me forcing our 15-year-old child to be someone she's not and to do something against her will. These are serious and harmful allegations that have hurt our children. Not one in our house would ever force Zaya or any of our children to do anything against their will, much less force an identity on them. This isn't a game for my family and definitely not for Zaya. I will not sit on my hands this time and allow her to make a mockery of my dedication to my family." Now let me break all that down for you. Siohvaugn wasn't exactly against Zaya embracing her true self as a trans person. She was all for Zaya's journey, but her point was straightforward. Let Zaya make these significant life decisions when she's old enough to understand and choose for herself without Gabrielle and Dwyane's manipulation. So apparently Siohvaugn doesn't have an issue with Zaya's sexuality or gender identity, but she just wanted the legal aspects to wait until Zaya reached the age of 18. I mean, she couldn't legally sign for things without parental consent anyway, so what's the rush? But there's more to this story, because Siohvaugn had another issue with the way Gabrielle was handling it. She felt it was all about Gabrielle's obsession with publicity. Going through a gender transition is a very personal and often challenging even for adults, and it becomes even more difficult when it's happening in the public eye. Siohvaugn understood this, which is why she wanted Zaya to go through this process more privately. However, according to Siohvaugn, Gabrielle and Dwyane had different intentions. They appeared to be capitalizing on the situation for all the attention they could get. And let's be real, ever since Zaya came out, she has been faced with a huge amount of online hate, which is crazy because she's just 15. It's a lot for anyone to handle, let alone a teenager. But Siohvaugn said they are positioned to profit from the minor child's name and gender change with various companies through contacts and marketing opportunities, including but not limited to deals with Disney. I have concerns that they may be pressuring our child to move forward with the name and gender change in order to capitalize on the financial opportunities that he has received from companies. She continued, they told me that they intended to make our child very famous due to the name and gender issue, and also informed me that there would be endorsements and contracts associated therewith. Zion, who was present at the time, answered that various companies were interested and that Disney was a prospective company. But that's not all, because several celebs have also spoken up about this same thing, like when rapper Boosie called Dwyane out for using Zaya for clout.
I gotta say something about this shit, bro. Dwyane Wade, you gone too fucking far, dog. That is a male, a 12-year-old. At 12, they don't even know what their next meal gonna be. They don't have shit figured out yet.
Boosie then accused Dwyane of trying to cut off Zaya's you-know-what and begged him not to do so because she was still very young and she could grow up to fall in love with a girl.
He might meet a woman, anything, at 16 and fall in love with her. But his be gone. How you gon'... Like, bro, you going too far, dog. Don't cut his off, bro. Like, bro, for real. If he gonna be gay, let him be gay. But don't cut his off, bro.
Well, Gabrielle clapped back at him and told him to mind his business and stop talking about her family.
Very much almost like thou doth protest too much, little booze.
I'm gonna look.
You got a lot of on your mind.
Now, Gabrielle has been receiving a lot of praise for being a strong support system for Zaya, and fans are gushing about how she's the perfect stepmother, and they're saying Zaya's incredibly lucky to have her in her corner. Gabrielle herself has openly accepted this narrative, going on and on about the tight bond she shares with Zaya. She said, I'm lucky to have Zaya as my bonus daughter. I did not birth her, but I've never felt more connected to anyone, and I've never felt more of a purpose as one of the adults in her village that is standing 10 toes down, sometimes behind her, sometimes beside her, and sometimes in front of her leading. Now that is very heartwarming and kind and all of that, but have you ever noticed that Gabrielle hasn't been sharing much about Zaya lately? As I mentioned earlier, her marriage with Dwyane seems to have hit a rough patch, and they're supposedly currently separated. It's a bummer, but it seems like Zaya might be caught in the crossfire because Gabrielle has seemingly shifted her focus away from her, acting as if she's not even in the picture. Well, y'all know the streets are definitely talking about this one, and they've been leaving comments like, I felt strongly that Gabrielle had a lot to do with his transition, and sometimes the child looks so miserable while standing with them, never looked happy. Gabrielle has so much darkness in her appearance, like pure evil. She even started looking different, so much darkness. Another person said, I never liked how Gabrielle inserted herself into another woman and man's child and what decisions they made in regards to that child. Dwyane and his ex handled Zion. Siohvaugn was right. He was too young to make a huge decision and should have at least waited until he was of age. Gabrielle was so intent on having a trans stepchild and paraded that child all over TV so she could get brownie points. And when his son wanted to transition to a girl, I believe Dwyane was so supportive because he deep down wished he could have done that at his age. Y'all, this is crazy, but what do y'all think about all this and Siohvaughn's claims? Do you think she's telling the truth about Zaya being manipulated, or do you think she's just a bitter ex and trying to cause more trouble for Dwyane and Gabrielle on top of all the other stuff they have going on right now? Drop your thoughts and comments below and then check out this next video.